Yeah, hi there. This is Michael from the 7-Step System to pass the TOEFL IBT. Good to hear from you. Now these comments here, I'm just going to give you the letter of your first name, L, and for privacy purposes I'm doing this. So let's take a look at your email right now and see what you said. So you say, hi, I really want help, actually fed up with the TOEFL. You know what, I can understand your pain there. It's a tough test. And for you, you're very close to your goals here, so I can see where you're coming from. You said, I gave the TOEFL 4 times to get 26 in speaking and 24 in the writing, but I always got 24 in the speaking and 20 in the writing. Even my reading score keeps swinging. That is, I got 21 2 times and 17 2 times. So what should I do to improve? And what do you think, or how long should I subscribe to the 7 steps to get done with it? Even I'd like to say I've done some online classes for speaking and writing, but did not help. Please reply soon. Alrighty. Now, from a writing standpoint, I can tell right away, I mean, you definitely have some problems with your grammar. I mean, I can tell by just reading your writing. You say, for example, I gave TOEFL. You know, in terms of word choice, you would probably want to say there, I took the TOEFL 4 times, not gave it. Also, you said in there, you said did not helped, ed. When you're using the do, you probably want to use the base form of the verb after that, you know, in terms of your grammar. So be careful, because if you have a lot of grammar problems in the speaking or the writing sections, it can bring down your score, right? But let's take a look at what you're doing here. So first, let's go to the speaking. The speaking is very tough, but you know what? You gotta at least look at it this way. You're very close. Obviously, you have very, very strong speaking skills, or you wouldn't be getting 24 out of 30. That's actually a really good score. Now, I know it's not your goal. You're probably a healthcare worker, you know, maybe a pharmacist, physical therapist, maybe a doctor or a nurse, and you need to get higher than 26 before you pass. Am I right? Okay, so let's take a look at, first of all, if you're scoring 20 points on the independent writing section of the test, let's see what that means. You have problems with your sentence structure and your vocabulary. You have problems with sentence formation and word choice. I even pointed out some word choice problems and sentence formation problems in the email that you sent me. You're also having problems with organization, and it's sometimes difficult to understand how your ideas are connected. These are the problems that you're having right now with the independent writing task based on your score. We also know based on your score that you need to give more specific examples to help support some of the ideas that you're arguing in your writing. You know this, right? Because, I mean, the TOEFL gives you a score report, and in the score report it tells you what you need to do to get better, right? Okay, from an integrated writing standpoint, it looks like the biggest problem you're having right now has to do with your listening. So you're omitting one or more key points from the lecture. You're not mentioning these things in your integrated writing task. Right? So also your response indicates a complete, inaccurate, or imprecise connection of ideas. For example, I'm going to just say L for your first name, L. When you're talking about the reading passage and the lecture, you're not accurately connecting them together. Maybe the lecture disagrees with three or more points in the reading passage, and you're not explaining what the disagreement is, or to what extent the lecture disagrees with which points, you know, that are actually mentioned in that reading passage. Okay, so what I do with my 7-step system, and you can make a decision on if you think it's going to help you. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I cannot correct all of your essays. I cannot correct all your grammar problems. That's not what I'm about. It's way too time consuming. My service is only about $35 a month, but here's what I will do. When you take when you take an independent writing practice test, I will give you a score. I will give you a link, and you can see exactly what I'm saying right now. I will even tell you specifically which lessons you need to focus on in my 7-step system to get better. For example, based on your score of 20 for the independent writing task, I recommend that you study in my 7-step system vocabulary lesson 2, grammar lesson 1, grammar lesson 1.1, and also writing lesson 3.1. I would highly recommend that you study those lessons based on your current score. Now, in the integrated writing task area, based on a score of 3.0 or 20 points out of 30, I would recommend that you focus on my listening practice tests. I have 40 practice tests at my site to help you improve your listening comprehension. You should also improve your reading, and particularly your reading speed, and I recommend that you focus on my speed reading practice tests, which start at 100 words a minute and they go all the way to 350 words per minute, right? So by reading faster, it helps you find the key points faster, and then you can write about those things better. Also, based on your score of 20 for the integrated writing task, I recommend that you focus on writing lessons 4.0, 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, 7.0, lesson 9.0, and also lesson 10. So by studying those lessons, it helps target specifically the writing problems you're having right now in both the independent and the integrated areas. And at my website right now, I have 10 different independent writing practice tests. I have 10 integrated writing practice tests. So that gives you, I think, enough time to take a practice test, get some feedback from me, get some recommended lessons. You study those lessons. Once you understand them, you come back and make another practice test, and we go through this process all over again. Alrighty? Now the next thing we want to take a look at right now, L, is your speaking. And your speaking is actually much better because you only need to get about 2 points higher. Okay, so let's take a look at, based on your writing or your speaking score, let me go to the integrated speaking and independent speaking rubric. So let's go independent first. And again, I can give you some suggestions as some things that you want to focus on here. So right now, it looks like you're scoring about 3.16 out of 4, or 24 points out of 30. So what you want to do here is, you do have some minor problems with pronunciation, intonation, or pacing, which are noticeable and require listener effort. You do have sometimes some imprecise or incorrect use of vocabulary or grammar. You have some limitations in the type of grammar and vocabulary that you're using. Now, we also saw this same thing in your writing areas. You also need to improve your writing, your grammar and your vocabulary in those areas as well. So it's no surprise that you want to do that as well in the speaking area. Also, you could be getting a score of 24 in the speaking area because you need to more fully explain your ideas and use more details to support your generalizations. Now, L, we also saw this same pattern in your independent writing score, that you also need to develop your ideas a little bit more than what you're doing. Now, for the speaking area, based on your score, I do have some lessons I think you should study at my 7-step system. The biggest thing is probably your delivery. This is pretty much the sole reason. When students are stuck at 24, my experience indicates you're probably having problems with your delivery, which means you need to focus a lot on step 2 of my 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. Step 2 is pronunciation. You need to solve more problems as they relate to pronunciation. So how do you do that? It's pretty easy. What you want to do is when you go to my step 2, there is a pretest that you can take. And the pretest will help diagnose any problems you're having right now in terms of your vowel and consonant sounds. So you'll take the pretest. I will tell you which lessons you need to focus on, and then you go ahead and study those lessons, and then you can take the second pretest. Once you do the second pretest, I'll diagnose any problems you're having in terms of grammatical word endings, syllable division, intonation, thought groups, blending, and so on. So you can actually, by becoming one of my students, and I hope that you will, you can actually diagnose very accurately exactly what problems you're having in your delivery when you are speaking English and how you can solve those problems. Now, you got to be motivated. I mean, I can figure out what's going on and what's causing you to get the score you're getting, but it's your responsibility to actually study the lessons so you get better. And it's your responsibility to take those practice tests. Now, to help you, Elle, is I have 30 different independent speaking practice tests at my site that you can take. You will record your responses at my VoxyPop discussion group. So again, you'll get a chance to get some feedback from me, and we will talk to you. Whenever you do a speaking practice test, we will talk to you. We will record our comments about your speaking and give you some specific lessons that you can focus on to get better. Now, one other area. Let's take a look at your integrated speaking area. And again, let's go down to about 24 points. It looks like, again, you have minor difficulties with pronunciation. It looks like you have some minor problems with vocabulary and grammar. And also, you have some incomplete or inaccurate ideas in terms of the details and things that you're using to help answer the actual integrated speaking task. So for you, I mean, you know what you need to do here. I mean, I've given you some ideas here. You also know by the score report that you get that there are specific things that you want to focus on based on your score right now. So at this point, Elle, I'd like to invite you to become one of my newest students. Think about it. The faster you become one of my students, the sooner you will be able to make progress in scoring higher than 24 and also scoring higher than 20 points on the writing section. How long will this take? I can't answer that question exactly. It depends on how hard you work. It depends on how many practice tests you're taking. And because the more practice tests you take, then you actually review lessons based on our comments. You do another practice test, make a few more changes. So the process, it could take probably anywhere from maybe 1 to 3 months for you to solve the language problems, the pronunciation problems, the organization problems, the development problems that you need to solve in order to score higher than what you're scoring right now. Now, you can do this. The question is, do you believe you can do this? I believe you can do this. So anyway, I hope that I've given you some good ideas. I apologize for my late response to your question, but thank you for emailing me and asking me the question. And anyway, all the best to your high-scoring TOEFL success.